At the Khe Sanh base, a direct ground attack is now expected. Day 33 brings a record incoming, 1,300 rounds. At night, the Marines hear the communists digging toward them. Some trenches come as close as 200 yards. Each day, napalm scorches the trenches. Bad weather and the shelling hamper the aerial supply lifeline. But thousands of tons of fuel, ammo, and food are parachuted in. There's also an efficient but risky ground delivery system. The planes skim the runway while the cargo jettisons. The system also requires courage for those Marines rotating out.
You have to understand that the planes, because the base was constantly being shelled, did not stop and park on a runway. And they would unload what they had by throwing it out the back. And you would wait in a line, and as the plane went by, you would run after it and jump in. And the first plane was a mail plane that I tried to get out on, and I didn't make the plane. And the plane did not make it out. It was just lifting off, and it got blown away at the end of the runway.
Halfway through the siege, after 40 days, only the wounded are regularly getting out.
Some of the guys wanted out bad enough that they would jump in the hole into the trench line and have their feet above the trench line, hoping that they would get a piece of shrapnel to cut their leg or their foot to go home from. They wanted out that bad.
For the American public, the battle conditions and purpose are increasingly questioned. For the Marines, the challenge is to keep up morale however they can. Bad weather continually closes in on Khe Sanh. But zero visibility hardly affects air operations. Ground controllers using radar and computers guide the bombing. This technology is perhaps one decisive factor in terminating the battle. In mid-March, the Marines realize that like a quietly receding tide, the North Vietnamese are leaving Khe Sanh. The time has come to lift the siege. Starting April 1st, helicopter assaults are made against pockets of remaining communist infantry. Within a few days, air cavalry units link up with the defenders. On the ground, lead elements push west, meeting little resistance. Starting April 6th, the relief forces move into Khe Sanh. The 77-day siege is over. The evaluation begins. An officer at Khe Sanh, Max Cleland.
When our relief forces landed within 2 miles of Khe Sanh, we found that the 2 miles between us and the base had been literally leveled by B-52s.
Despite Khe Sanh's relief, the military must still deal with comparisons to Dien Bien Phu.
We had the superior firepower, we had the superior air support, and we had the superior mobility at Khe Sanh. And ultimately, that made the difference.
Although the Dien Bien Phu didn't materialize, the operation was given such visibility in the United States, it did play into the hands of the enemy psychologically. Now, I think it should be recognized that the strategy of the enemy was to defeat us politically at home. I think they were smart enough to realize they could not defeat us on the battlefield.
The Khe Sanh siege turns many Americans against the war. As the battle ends, a Gallup poll shows that 1 in 5 Americans switch from support to opposition.
Peace out! Peace out! Peace out! Everybody! Peace out! Peace out!
In North Vietnam, the public has shown scenes of anti-war unrest in the United States. They are told the war is being won in the South. At Khe Sanh, the Marines claim a body count of 1,600 North Vietnamese, and possibly many more from the airstrikes. Marine losses are given as 205 killed, 800 wounded, but U.S. public opinion questions the cost and results. The Marines held Khe Sanh. Told to abandon it, only the press and public debated, was it worth it?
I'm a Marine. I still am. I'm retired, but I'm a Marine. And Marines have one funny habit, and that is that they do what the hell they're told to do. If the decision is made by people above me that was not required, I don't have any feeling one way. I was told to go there. I was told to stay there. I went there. I stayed there. When they told me to come out, I came out. The same thing with the troops that were there. I did it only because I had the young men that could do it, and after all, they're the ones that really won the Battle of Khe Sanh.
The U.S. command abandons Khe Sanh, and gradually their tactic of search and destroy. Military experts wonder if the North Vietnamese used Khe Sanh as a feint to draw attention away from the Tet Offensive, launched about the same time. President Johnson answers the critics as he presents unit citations to the defenders.
Some have asked what the gallantry of these Marines and airmen accomplished. Why did we choose to pay the price to defend those dreary hills? By pinning down and by decimating 2 North Vietnamese divisions, the few thousand Marines and their gallant South Vietnamese allies prevented those divisions from entering other major battles. I believe that our initiative toward talks with North Vietnam was greatly strengthened by what these men did at Khe Sanh, for they vividly demonstrated to the enemy the utter futility of his attempts to win a military victory in the South.